Right, so we're gonna do a quick combat tutorial, basics of combat. The first thing to note is that left swings, right swings, and verticals all have different swing speeds. The quickest is a light left. The longest would be a right. And then a vertical is sometimes in the middle. It's different for each weapon, right? The biggest thing about combat is understanding initiative and learning how to feint. So after you block an attack, the opponent gets initiative. So once they have initiative, that means if we both swing at the same time after he blocks, his is going to hit first. Okay? Now, the way you can gain initiative on the offensive is by doing a heavy. So see how he gets staggered? And a heavy is like, you see when it shines? Here, I'll do it again. See when it shines? That's when it's a heavy. So that, you get initiative if they block your heavy. So a way to control the pace is to mix in heavies as well as work off initiative. Now, when you're against really good players, it's about feinting, right? So Narrow's like really quick with his feints, much quicker than me. But when you're against good players, you have to basically mirror where their swings are coming from. Or in this situation, do a gamble, okay? And if you're against someone who's really good, spinning is another tactic you can throw in your arsenal. So if you think someone's trying to feint a ton on you, you can just throw in a swing, which would be a gamble at that point, and try to throw them off. Okay? But this is mostly for 1v1s. Now in group fights, you don't want to be spinning a lot, doing your triple sow cows. But it's still good to have it in your arsenal for 1v1s. Another important thing to note is that if you're on fluid blocking and someone holds a vertical and rotates around you, your block will drop. Now, Narrow doesn't use fluid blocking, so his block isn't going to drop. But if you're on fluid blocking, what you can do is you can hold your right click and then also hold down your left click. And then even if he rotates around me, I get to hold my block as if I didn't have fluid blocking. So this is something that's very important. A lot of vets will try to rotate verticals on you like that. So if you're going to use fluid blocking, make sure you learn to lock your vertical blocks. And the last, I would say, entry level thing to PvP is chambers. A chamber is basically when you swing from the direction they swing, but you do it a little bit later at the right time, and it blocks the attack as well as swings through. I don't recommend starting with chambers, but it's something once you master blocking that you can do. Okay, so that's a chamber, right? So you swing a little bit later. Swing a little bit later. You'll hear like that crickety crack. And once you've mastered blocking, you can try to work on your chambers. And chambers is probably like the end game of melee in LO. But keep in mind, if you miss a chamber, you're going to be taking a hit to the face. So again, it's a riskier play style. You don't always want to go for chambers, and since people will try to do it against you, you can feint or hold your hits and get them through. The last thing I forgot to mention is there's 3 types of swings. Light, medium, heavy. Okay? So the medium will do a little bit more damage. It won't stagger. The light's the quickest, the least damage. The heaviest is the most damage and takes the longest and staggers. Sorry, there's one more thing. Is pulling your swings with acceleration through people. So if I just do a regular light, 32 damage. See how it says speed bonus on the right? Okay. If I pull my swing through it and move with it. I had to strafe with that. I apologize. See how it says speed bonus 1.15 and it did like 8 more damage? That's because I'm moving with my swing. Now, if I move the other way with the left swing, see how it does 0.75 speed bonus? That's because I'm going against the momentum of my swing. So it's very important. It's very important while you're doing left and right that you're moving with your swing if you can. Sometimes you can't, right? But if you strafe into your swing, you're going to do more damage with it. So try to go with the flow of your swing to increase your damage, as opposed to going the wrong way with it. All right, the other thing I want to touch on is gambles. So after some...
first.
Yeah, go for it. After someone hits you with either a heavy, which staggers you, a hit, which staggers you, if they don't block it, or they block, that's how you gain initiative, right? So a heavy, haha. That means after that, I have initiative, right? See? So if he tried to swing right after I staggered with the heavy, I still have initiative. So after I block, I then have initiative. So it's basically a lot of the fight in a 1v1 is resetting initiative. So you always want to know in whatever situation you're fighting, who has the pressure. But on the same note, if you're going against a good player and they're doing a lot of feints, sometimes you do want to throw a swing in there, even if it feels like they're on the aggressive, just to throw them out of their rhythm. So you don't always play off initiatives. I would say the most basic or rudiment, like I say everyone should start by learning how to block and understanding initiative. But sometimes you have to throw a gamble in there to mess it up. That it's sometimes that just you need to throw a gamble in there, even though you don't have initiative. You need to throw a swing in there to throw them off their game if it looks like they're fainting too much. You have to throw something in there to try to like get a wrench in it for them. Is the best way I can describe it. So right there, I have initiative. He's holding a vertical. I lock my block. See, we're kind of both range gambling here. Right there, he went for a gamble because he knew I was gonna fucking do that. See, another reason I'm missing my block is I'm not keeping my camera centered on him, right? So if you want... Nice job. So right there, another important thing I want to bring up. Another important thing I want to bring up is if you rotate around someone, a left block should block a left swing, right? But The truth can be said is like, even if they do a right swing and I turn my camera enough, I can still block a right swing with my left. So a lot of fights is actually just out rotating people and getting on a blind spot of where they're trying to block from. Like right there, he rotated around me, and even though I did the right block, my camera wasn't centered on him, so my block didn't line up, if that makes sense. So a lot of it comes down to, you know, you don't always want to have them centered, but your blocks are going to be most accurate directionally if they're locked in where you imagine your crosshair to be, if that makes sense. Oh, and another thing is that one-handers tend to be better for 1v1s than two-handers. So that's just the basics of combat that I wanted to cover, but I think that covers all the basic stuff. Obviously, different people have different play styles, and each person you're going to fight is going to play differently, so you have to keep that in mind. You can't just fight everyone the same way, but hopefully that should cover it.